Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then just welcome. So I mentioned in my last video that I was going to be doing a couple of DIY for Halloween decorations this year, so I'm just bringing you along with me. So I snagged these at Michael's. These are just wooden circles. They were about $3.49, so pretty inexpensive. I knew that I needed to paint them black. Initially, I started to paint them in acrylic paint, but it was far too time consuming. So since I already had a pile of things that I needed to spray paint, I opted to just use the Rust-Oleum flat black. And even with the dry time, it seemed to take far less time than hand painting it with acrylic paint. But if you only have the option for acrylic paint, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I was in a time crunch and I'm impatient. So once it was dried, I immediately got to work. I decided that I was just going to use a mechanical pencil. That way, if I made a mistake, it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. Just going to do a rough sketch of the design that I wanted to put on this wooden circle. Once my design was finished, I then needed to figure out which type of acrylic pen that I was going to use. And the one that I initially started with actually created too thick of a line, and it wasn't really to my liking, so I decided that I needed to just try something else. And I was surprised that a Uniball Signa pen was actually going to be pretty useful in this situation. I wasn't expecting the pen to actually work on this type of a surface, but it did actually work pretty well. It was easy to use, it was pretty opaque, and the lines did skip a little bit, but I think it made it look a little better, like a little bit more authentic, if you will, because no spider web is 100% perfect, and I felt like it looked a lot better with the fact that the lines were a little inconsistent. And I just continue on until this part is finished. And once this part is done, I needed to find the marker that I was using initially, which was this acrylic marker, and I needed to make some darker, bolder lines along the sides that just kind of created some type of foliage. And I continue to work on that until it's time for me to get on to the next part. Okay, once I've drawn out all of my leaves and added a little bit of line work and details, I decided that I wanted to add some gold elements and silver elements to this particular drawing. So I continue to add all those things in. Next, I start to add little round extensions of each individual line that's supposed to mimic little water droplets, even adding dotted lines just to kind of enhance it a bit more. This part was actually a little bit time consuming, which I didn't mind. I was actually watching a movie in the background while I was adding all these elements in. You guys actually get to see the sped up version of this via time lapse, so that's what's awesome about editing. Even though it took me a long time to do all this, it was, you guys get to see it in just like a few minutes, so that's awesome. I did end up adding a few more things. I ended up cleaning up some lines, maybe some transfer that happened with some of the metallic pens. I just ended up using a black acrylic marker to clean up any of those boo-boos. And the acrylic markers, it doesn't matter what kind you use. I got these, I think, from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago, so they're nothing fancy. They worked out pretty well, and that's overall all that matters. So you don't have to buy expensive supplies to do any of this. In fact, you don't even have to follow this design. This is just a blueprint, really. It's just an idea. It's just something that you can take some inspiration from, as I did. I looked on Pinterest for various different things for spider webs, and this is what I came up with. Overall, I really like it. It's currently sitting in my shelf, and I think it's going to stay there for maybe the remainder of the season, maybe even the whole year. I don't know. Overall, I really like it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it fun and a little bit of a change outside of my usual content. And if you would like to see more of these types of videos, just please leave a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. I would love to know. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it. Socials, links, all that jazz is going to be listed down below. And until the next one, later, guys.